morning. I'm so happy to be with you guys this morning. I usually see you in the afternoon, but today's a special treat that I get to see you in the morning hours. I was talking with Mrs. Siegel, and she mentioned to me that you've been doing a really, really great job as you are reading, noticing words that fit into our patterns. The last time we were together, we were talking about how we can break apart longer words, words that have more than one syllable in them. And some things that we discovered was that words that have a vowel consonant vowel pattern are oftentimes, we notice that syllable splits right between the vowel, the first vowel, and that consonant. And then what it does is it makes that first chunk make the vowel say a long sound, like in paper and diner. And then we also notice that words that have two consonants in the middle, that syllable break is usually right between those two consonants, and we usually have a short vowel sound, like in the word kitten and in the word happy. But when I was talking with Mrs. Siegel, she said that some of you noticed that there were some words that maybe didn't sound just like that or were a little bit tricky. And I said I have to come back in and talk with them because I too found some words that were like this. I was reading and I came upon the word, what word is that?
River.
River. And when I was looking at this word, when I was reading, I was like, wait a minute. If I look at this, I see, let's look at our pattern. I have a vowel, consonant, vowel. And we had noticed the last time that when we found that pattern, that we wanted to break that syllable right after the first vowel, and that vowel sound would be long. So if I did that, I would break it right here, and it would be ri, ver. And I'm like, we don't say river, right? Like, this doesn't even sound right. Like, I walked down to the river, and I'm like, something's tricky about this. And I thought, it's a short vowel sound that we hear in river, right? Riv-er. And so I realized as I was looking at this word that I actually think that it breaks right here. Do you agree with me?
Yeah.
Like, and that consonant is there making that I make it short sound. And so I see riv-er. And this got me thinking. This isn't the first time that this has happened. But it made me think we've got to come back together and we have to dig into this a little bit further. And the thing that I want to teach you today is really important. The thing that I want to teach you today is that the patterns that we discover in words, like how we've discovered this pattern and we discovered this pattern and we noticed where those syllables break, the patterns that we discover in words in our language don't always work for every single word, right? They don't work for every single word. And because of that, as readers and as writers, we have to always be on the lookout for new patterns, and we have to use the patterns that we know flexibly, right? So I thought we could investigate this a little bit further, and I wanted your help to do this, to see, could we use our patterns flexibly, and might we discover another pattern today if we're on the lookout for it? So I'm going to have us set up our notebooks together, and I thought we could do a little bit of sorting together and then work along with your partnerships to do a little bit more of that. Does that sound good? Okay, so the first thing I want to do up at the top of my new notebook page is I want to set up these two patterns. So I'm going to do that first. I'm going to write VCV for our vowel, consonant, vowel. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that that break is right after that first vowel, just like what we noticed the last time we were together. So go ahead and put that in your notebook too.
Excuse me. I found a word as able. Like, it's not able.
I like this. So maybe that's another one that you could even be thinking about today as we do this, because that means you were on the lookout and you were thinking about it. All right, the next one I want you to add to the top is vowel, consonant, consonant, vowel. So let's put that one up here. And the syllable break for VCCV goes
Right in the middle.
usually right down the middle. And then in the word river, I happen to notice in this one that there might be another pattern. There might be. I'm not sure. This we're going to investigate together. But if this word had a syllable break in it, that break would come here, right? Riv-er. So I'm gonna put vowel, consonant, vowel, which is the same pattern as over here, but this time, I'm gonna put my syllable break after the consonant. Okay, so let's try a couple together. Let's first try river. Okay, so if I had to put river somewhere, where would I put it? Let's think about this. Riv-er. What sound do we hear the vowel making?
Vowel
I hear if, right? River. So I'm thinking when I look at this one, I'm gonna have to put that break right after the V. So it says riv-er. So I'm gonna put it over here. And I'm gonna break it right there. So I have riv-er. Make sense? All right, let's try the next one. Let's try the word music. All right, let's first look at our vowel pattern. I have vowel, consonant, vowel. But now I'm gonna have to really be listening for what sound that vowel is making. I hear music. Is it making its long sound or its short sound? What do you hear? Long sound. Really quickly, talk with your partner. Where do you think it goes? Is this one gonna go here? Or is it gonna go here? Is it like river, or is it gonna make its long sound? Talk with your partner.
I think it's long sound. Because it doesn't seem like river.
What do you think?
Just like
So that one, like, you say it faster on this
Together
one,
in 3,
but the words are longer on this
1.
one.
One thing I was noticing, partners were really listening to the sound of the vowel because these two patterns are the same, right? Vowel, consonant, vowel, vowel, consonant, vowel. They're the same pattern. The only way we can know the difference between which words go there is by really listening to that vowel sound. I heard, bless you, I heard the ladies up here say they think it goes over here because we hear music. Yes? Does that make sense? Yes. Does everybody agree?
No.
Okay. And then let's take this one. How about this one?
Saturn.
Saturn. Go ahead, talk with your partners again. Where do you think that this one might go?
I think it goes It would split maybe after the vowels. Yeah. So it
Okay, let's come back together in 3, 2, 1. So I was thinking about this one. I thought if it went here, it would be say turn. Say turn. That doesn't sound right. I think that this break is going to happen here. I'm going to hear the word sat. Did you hear that too?
Yeah.
Sat, earn, and so I'm going to put it here.
I don't want it.
And I'm going to put the break there too so I can see it. And I see sat, earn. All right, I have one more word I brought with me. Oh, this one looks a little tricky. Maybe we need to add that. Vowel, vowel, consonant, vowel. Where do you think we put the syllable break for this one? Talk with your partners about this one too. Listen to the word season. Season. Where's it going to go? So where did you break it? Okay, let's come back together. What are some of your ideas? Where might we break this one? Yeah, what were you thinking?
Me and Elena think you break it in the middle because you don't pronounce it like C and azan because that's not really how you pronounce it.
Yeah, so you think it needs to go, the break needs to happen where?
In the middle.
After what letter?
A.
After the A? So you think maybe vowel, vowel, the break, and then consonant, vowel? Yeah, what were you thinking?
Well, I was just thinking if it makes a really long E sound after the E.
Yeah.
So, but you don't say C other.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, because we know that EA is a vowel team, right? So that's another clue, I think, that those two are gonna stick together because EA is a vowel team. We're not gonna separate them, and we don't hear that sun, like on the other side, right? We hear C, and then we hear sun. So I'm gonna put this up here, but I think what's important to know is I'm gonna put the break after the vowel, vowel, because I think those two vowels together are probably going to be a vowel team, and we've talked a lot about vowel teams before. So I'm gonna put season right here.
We didn't have
Okay, I would love for all of you to keep doing this work in your partnerships. I have baggies for you, and I want you to see if you can notice some other patterns that we might find in words, and also the really important thing about being readers and writers with our English language is that we need to use our patterns flexibly. Like, we need to be really thinking about how do those words sound, and then thinking about, is it fit into this pattern, or maybe this is a new pattern that we're discovering, okay? All right, partner B, I'm gonna give you the words, and then you can go ahead and you can get started. Just like normal, just pick one word at a time and work on one as you go. Partner B. Thank you for coming up, that's helpful.
Okay, I'll pick
You're welcome.
human.
Vowel, consonant,
I know where you
consonant, vowel, consonant, or vowel, consonant,
Everybody have their words?
plant, bees,
Lima. It'd be Lima if we put it
yeah. So it would be lemon if we put it here. Okay.
And you can also talk about
consonant vowel, but it's a vowel. No.
Oh, where
It's just vowel, consonant, vowel, but pilot should be in front.
and say it would be easy if it wasn't like that. But if it was in vowel,
It has the vowel sound, so it'd be same thing as it comes right in the middle. No, that's actually the
I think it. I think it heads in this pattern because it's the same vowel pattern, and they're all kind of spelled the same.
Because you split it
And you don't split it. You don't split the vowel teams apart because it sounds like le again. It's not like
It's over here.
And this time I'm gonna let you talk because I can't.
consonant, vowel, consonant. So it's vowel, consonant, vowel.
I love how you're.
But we have to see where it's split.
And I think you're right. Here, this is how I always do it. Right here.
It just seems like you was.
If I put it right here, then it's long time, it's gonna say you.
I think you would split in the middle. So I think it should go here.
Nice job.
Maybe listen, I guess. Is it present or present?
It'd be present.
Oh my gosh, that's such a good question. So you could actually possibly put it in either category depending on how you say it. Don't you think? Could it go in both? And I think you're right. I think that would be a good next lesson.
Look, it's a vowel, vowel, consonant, vowel. So
I think it would go here because every time I have to
yeah.
So when I say this, so I say it and I First, I block it and I do it just like this. If I put the break here, it would say high left, high left. If I put the break here,
So
Okay.
it's about
I didn't ask for that.
yeah.
does that make sense? How I like block it. And if I see that it's just a vowel at the end.
Sneakers.
On.
When you do it doesn't really sound like vowels because we can end on the
So I think you were going lazy center.
Let me ask you something about lazy. Can I say lazy really quick? Okay, let's try lazy this way. So we could break it here, right after the vowel. What sound is A going to make if it's left open? It's going to say lay. It's going to say its name. So it's going to say lazy. If I break it after the consonant, it's going to say laz. Do you see that word? Lazy. Which one sounds right? Lazy, lazy, or lazy? So double check yours. Where did you put it? So you have it right now. It sometimes helps to put the breaks in the word itself so you can see it too. Right now you have it after the consonant, right? You have it as laz.
It sounds like jazz.
It does, you're right. It does sound like laz. I thought the same thing. But if you put your breaks in your words too, not just in the column, it will help you to see that. So when you move it over there, put the break in the word too.
I'll be checking my watch to see if
Her. Her.
He's featuring
You know what? Numbers are a little bit different, so it's a different pattern, isn't it? Because in number you have vowel, consonant, vowel. This one you have vowel, vowel, consonant, vowel.
Excuse me, that's not another pattern.
Yes, but she was talking about never. She was comparing it to never, and never is a different pattern than sneaker, right?
But we still did. We are
Okay, so let's do just sneaker. So you were putting. Right? Can I use your pencil so I can see this? Oh, look at C. Sun. And I have vowel, vowel, consonant, vowel. I hear. So keep that together, right? C, sun. So let's look at sneaker. How many? Vowel, vowel, consonant, vowel. On this one, we split out to just two vowels. Would it make sense to do that here? We did the same thing. Do you see that? Yeah. And then let's look at never. Never. Never is vowel, consonant, vowel. It doesn't have two of them. Right? Never, we're going to break it here. And we would say never. Or we would break it here and we would say never. You see the difference? So where are we going to put in that one? Never or never? So we'll have to break it right there, right? Yeah. If you wrote it right there, it would be no, look. It's like the word be. Do you see that? This says me. Look. Like in the word like be and me, when that vowel is on the end, it's going to make a long sound. So if it was on the end there, it would say me. That's why we have to break it right here. And then we have nev. Make sense? You have it there. Yeah. All right, try a couple more. Keep going.
Wait, oh, it's in
Are you finding some good examples? Yeah. Which ones do you have for vowel, vowel, consonant, vowel?
right here.
Good.
We have to even know what
Oh, the vowel Okay.
Reason, did you do it?
Okay, I'd like you to finish up on the word that you're on. You can leave your words out, but just finish up on the word that you're on, and then we'll come back together.
Okay, let's just finish. Okay. As if we did.
Finish one.
Want me to hold that for you?
Okay, let's come back together. You can refocus yourselves, just check yourselves really quickly. As I was going around, I have to just say that I'm impressed with how you are really thinking through this. Being word study experts and investigators isn't about being right, it's about thinking. And you are all really doing great thinking work. So before we come together and look at some of this, can you just really quickly check yourself, make sure that you have your pencils down right now, your words are fine, we can put those away in a minute, you're refocused and looking up here. As I was talking with some partnerships, I pulled out some words that I thought were ones that we could talk about really quickly together. Let's take a look at this one. We have the word second, right? Like second grade, or I was second in line. And if we look at this one, let's just do this one together. I see vowel, consonant, vowel. And so I have to decide, am I going to break it here, or am I going to break it here? So let's try it. If we broke it right here, it would be secant. Doesn't sound right? But if I break it here, I have second. So I think that it's going to be like river and Saturn, and I'm going to put sec. Okay, let's try this one. What word do we have? Leader. And my pattern is vowel, vowel, consonant, vowel. We noticed that in vowel, vowel, consonant, vowel, it seemed like we broke right after those two vowels. So let's try that in this one. We have leader. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So let's add this over here. Leader. And then I have this word. What word is this?
Present.
Okay, so this
Present.
yeah. So one partnership discovered something really cool about this word. First, let's look at our vowel pattern. We have vowel, consonant, vowel. Yes?
Yes.
So we have a choice. We want to be flexible. We want to decide where we're going to break this. We could break it after that vowel, and it would be present.
Before.
Present, yes. Or if I break it here, we have present. So which one is it?
It's present.
Is it present or is it present?
It's present.
It's both. Right? Like it's both. So we could write, this is like a really cool word. We could write it here as I need to present my project to the class. Or I could write it here this way, and I could say, I brought you a present. Right? And that's really kind of interesting, and I didn't even think about that sometimes, depending on where we break that word spelled exactly the same way might sound a little bit different and might mean something a little bit different in our language. So I thought that we could really quickly add to our chart. Let's hold our thoughts just really quickly. Let's add to our chart. We discovered something today about this pattern, that it might have a syllable break in a different place. Last time we said that it broke right after the vowel. So today, let's try to capture that sometimes it might also break after the consonant, making this a short vowel sound, right? Like in the words, we had river, Saturn,
Second.
second,
Lemon.
present,
Lemon. And frozen.
lemon, yes. Yeah. Fro, I hear a different.
Oh, wait, never
fro.
mind.
No,
No, frozen was in the
right?
other one.
Yeah. Okay, I think that's good for this one. And then I think we also need to add that new pattern that we didn't expect, which was the vowel, consonant, vowel. And where did we learn that we break that one? Usually after the,
Second vowel.
okay, can you give me some words that we might put on here for this one?
Reason.
Easy.
Peanut.
Season, I hear
Easy.
peanut,
Meeting.
easy,
Meeting.
I know.
and leader. Those are all really great examples. I think there's enough on there to be good examples of those. So I just want to remind you
You should have broke under.
that the thing we've figured out today, and I think we've kind of known this before, is that our language is complicated. The English language is a complicated language. And we want to make sure that when we are discovering patterns about words, we realize that sometimes those patterns may work for some words, but they may not work for every single word. And today what you did was really hard work. You were using your patterns to think flexibly about where you might break those words based off of how those words were pronounced. You did some really hard thinking work today. Awesome job. I want you to keep noticing that as you're going off and you're doing your reading, and I want you to be thinking about these as you're doing your writing too. And I did hear somebody say we should break these on here, so maybe that's actually a job that one of you or a couple of you could do after word study time today, right? Like you have a little bit of time, you could actually break, like show those breaks on those words. Partner A, will you collect the words and then will you bring those back up for me so we can wrap up? What were you gonna say? What were you gonna say?
You forgot to put the split.
That's what I just said. Somebody said I didn't put the breaks in, so somebody can do that. That actually will be good practice. That was a good catch. I think somebody in your class should do them.
Yeah, we have to do a quiz.
We have 45 minutes.